Well, the Mandalorian season finale is finally upon us, so I thought it was appropriate to go through all of the Mandalorian content in the Star Wars Minecraft DLC. So I'll be going through all of the planet dioramas, the character skins and more. But before anybody panics, this only covers season 1 of The Mandalorian, so no season 2 spoilers here. First up, let's look at the skins. So first off, we have the Mandalorian in his basic armor. I think a lot of people have forgotten this design since it was only in the first 3 to 4 episodes of the first season of Mandalorian. Next up, we have the Mandalorian in his Beskar armor for what we commonly see him as now. We also have Greef Karga. Also, we have Keel. I probably might pronounce his name wrong. IG-11 and the child. There you can see little baby Yoda in the back. IG-11 without the child. Moff Gideon. Really love the face design on this one. They got him very accurate. Cara Dune looking pretty slick. Fennec Shan. Wait, what? Since when did Minecraft have Fortnite emotes? When did they add this in? The Armorer from the end of Season 1 and the beginning of Season 2, and then the rest are just the original trilogy characters. We covered this in our overview video that we did about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I won't waste your time going over these skins again. The first planet is Navarro. This is where the Mandalorian starts, this is where the Mandalorian gets his bounties. It's also where he gives away the child. I'm pretty sure you know what this planet is and the city within it. But starting off with Keel's grave with his little hat on the side there. Very sad to see that, and I don't think he's pretty happy to see it either. Look at him, he's absolutely bloody fuming. Next up, we have the destroyed TIE Fighter. Now, this is where Moff Gideon actually crashed at the end of Season 1, and we get that iconic shot of him coming out as he pulls out the Darksaber. That was quite a prominent moment in Season 1 of The Mandalorian. And the best thing is, you can go ahead and recreate it yourself. The Darksaber being the Netherite sword, which is actually the strongest sword in the base Minecraft game. Next up, you have that little camp that the Mandalorian, Cara and Greef sit at. This is when they were trying to intercept the city in the penultimate episode of Season 1. And next up, we have the Razor Crest. Now, we did cover this in our Tatooine video because it was on the planet Tatooine. And whilst there are a few little cosmetic changes, the interiors are pretty much the same, but we'll give a quick overview anyway. So let's have a little look inside. So looking around, it's pretty much your base design. You can open up these doors. This is where you can show the Mandalorian's armor and the elytras being his jetpack, and then the rockets also being the fuel for that jetpack. Going up ladders and then taking a left, you can actually go into the cockpit. So as you know, the Razor Crest does have a hyperdrive, so you can flip this switch and then pick what Mandalorian planets you want to go to. But we'll come back to this later. Going through the right hand side door, that just reveals more living space for the Mandalorian, and going down the ladder brings you to the back entrance of the Razor Crest. And that's a quick overview of what's inside the Razor Crest. Now let's move on to Navarro's city, or a village if you feel like it's not big enough to be a city. So first thing I noticed was the land speeders. Here there's a garage where you can get inside a land speeder. We covered this in our Tatooine video, so I won't go over it too much, but it is a completely new vehicle just for this Star Wars Minecraft DLC pack. And hey, the Mandalorian seems like he likes it. So going through the city, it's actually quite interesting because there's a lot of buildings that are actually fully designed. Like, I actually got pretty lost going from building to building. So you have to kind of keep your wits about you and understand where you're going and how you can get back. But all of these have like their own kitchen, their own bed. It's actually something you can kind of live in yourself if you're playing survival. But it's really cool because whoever made these maps definitely brought a lot of life to this little village in Navarro. So seriously, kudos to them because this looks actually really great. Another thing you'll come across is the different type of life forms you'll find in this little village. They're reskins of villagers, so you can trade with them. But I don't know how they got around it, but each villager looks really unique. You've got different alien races, you've got humans, all sorts. Definitely recommend you check it out. There's a ton of different wildlife as well. I actually found this little flying droid that was a reskin of a bee. I thought that was pretty cool. I never saw that in the previous videos I made on this. So going back to the TIE Interceptor, I definitely tried to find an entrance to climb up and enter into it, but unfortunately it looks like it was completely closed off. But we're in creative, so we can just force ourselves in. And because it's a TIE Interceptor, it doesn't have a hyperdrive. So unfortunately you can't walk to a different planet with the starfighter, but the interior looks really cool nonetheless. There are some doors that don't actually open. These are reskins of iron doors that don't have buttons or pressure plates associated with them, and once broken through creative, it reveals nothing. But that won't stop you from carving out your own little house in survival mode, so maybe you want to do that. Next up, we're going inside the little bar area. This is where that massive shootout scene at the end of Season 1 happened. There's honestly quite a lot of interior going on in here. Unfortunately, it's not really a shop, so you can't buy anything in there. But if you look closely, you might actually find the secret vent area. We'll come back to this later on in the video. As mentioned in our previous videos, the zombies are in fact the stormtroopers. They have their own little sound effects, and yeah, they're definitely not that intelligent. Next up is the room where the Mandalorian gives over the baby. You hit the little button, it ID scans you, and then it lets you in. It's the same animation with Jabba's palace in the Tatooine video, but it's still really cool nonetheless. Going inside the building, you can actually get a full range view of what's inside. In the TV show, it doesn't really show you too much in terms of interior, but I gotta say, it feels very accurate to the TV show. So whoever's making these interiors, man, you're doing a good job. The first room is where Grogu was held captive, and the clone engineer was drawing blood from Grogu, and the second room is where the Mandalorian blasted in to try and rescue the child. I really like the buttons on the floor that represent pebbles. Got a nice touch to it. But other than that, I really recommend just walking through the village. It is just so dense, and as I mentioned before, I definitely got lost a couple of times. You could spend a good hour really looking through everything this little village has to offer. So again, if you do decide to get this Minecraft pack, you're going to be here for quite a while. As mentioned before, this is a different villager skin. This one is a human villager, and yes, you can trade with him as well. And if you've got a very keen eye, you'll be able to find another secret entrance into the sewers. This looks really well done. But let's get into the sewers through a different means. We can get into the sewers another way through the bar. Once opening the door, you should be able to see it just to the left of you as soon as you enter in. There, we'll just break this block, go down the ladder, and there you go. Now, this is the beginning part of the sewer, so there's quite a journey to get to the other side. But I gotta give it to them, it looks really well constructed. But on the way to the end of the sewers, we also find the Armory. This is where the Mandalorian's Beskar armor is forged, and the perfect home for the armorer. Looking around, you can find tools on frames, as well as some extra armor in the chests found in the corners of the room, but a really nice, well-hidden Easter egg for you to find. Reaching to the end of the sewers, we can find ourselves in a pretty dark area. Following all the way down to the end of the path leads us to a sailing droid. If you don't remember, this is in the final episode of The Mandalorian Season 1, where a little droid rows you through a river of lava. Feels kind of appropriate to run the IG-11 skin here. But jumping into the boat actually has a pre-made animation, where it will slowly lead you down to the end of the river, and then just disappear and die. But we all know this is a special scene where IG-11 sacrifices himself to save the Mandalorian and the child, so that was a really nice touch there. Also, it looks extremely painful. But that is a very quick overview of Navarro. There is a ton of detail in this little village here, and honestly, I think I might have missed some. More reason for you to go and check it out for yourself. Ooh, actually, before we go to our next planet or ship, there was one thing I totally forgot to show you guys. You can spawn loft cats. Now, loft cats are reskins of cats, obviously, but I really love their textures. A very expressive face. Kind of makes me miss the grumpy cat. You can give him some raw cod to make him love you and be your actual pet, and you can name him as well. So I'm gonna name him George Lucas Lol. There you go, perfect name. Look at him, he loves it. You are now George Lucas Lol. Okay, goodbye George Lucas Lol. Next up is the New Republic prison ship. This was Chapter 6, The Prisoner. It's where you had Mayfield, the Devorian Berg, the droid pilot Zero, and the Twi'lek Ian. I definitely pronounced the name wrong there. But then also, later on, her brother Quinn. But you can't actually access inside it through its exterior, so the only way to get into it through survival is through the Razor Crest. We go back to the cockpit, we pick where we want to go, and then we flip that switch, and then we hyperdrive right into it. Not directly into it, but we park up on top of it, nice and neatly. So going down the ladder into the prison cells, I gotta say there isn't too much to explore here. All the rooms are pretty much identical. You got some droids that are going about the place. For those who actually missed out on our Tatooine video, the droids are actually skeleton reskins that can't fire bows. So they actually have zombie AI, but it's actually a skeleton. It's actually really cool. I do show it off a bit more in detail on the Tatooine video. I'll link that at the end of this one. But after searching through the rooms and finding the cockpit, there you can find two odd little levers. You flick both of them on, the blocks turn to green, and it opens up a secret room that contains a disc within a chest. So in the Star Wars Minecraft DLC pack, you have to find 12 of these discs. They're scattered across all the planet dioramas, so this is one of the 12. But yeah, after that, we might as well head back to the Razor Crest and check out the final planet. The final planet is Arvala 7. So this is actually one of the smaller planet dioramas. There isn't too much to show here, but coming back down, we can find the battered up Razor Crest once again. Inside the Razor Crest, it's a little bit different. There you see 2 blurs kept nice and safe. This is all associated to the episode where the Mandalorian does go to Arvala 7, but let's check out the rest of the map. Next up, we find Keel's moisture farm. That's where he keeps his blarg, as well live in his little cozy hut. We do see this in the first episode as well. Now, checking out the blarg, I didn't know exactly what they were at first, but I did figure out they were going to be reskinned pigs because you can put a saddle on them, but you can't control them. But after getting a carrot on the stick variant, I'm able to control the direction of the blarg, but it is very, very slow. I mean, come on. Even the Mandalorian doesn't look very impressed. Going into Keel's home, it's actually really nicely decorated. A lot of thought and attention has been placed into this, actually. You've got chests where he keeps his food, cups, tabletops, workbenches, and even more inside this little hut. And a nice little red carpet too. And walking through the banners, we can find the separate beds and just more living quarters in general. But yeah, nice looking pad, Keel. I like it. But anyway, moving on to the biggest part about this planet, and probably one you're looking forward to the most actually, is taking the blarg to the very small village where Baby Yoda is held in secret. Although this is going to probably take a while on a blarg, so I might as well just fly there. So coming up to the little village, the first thing we think of is this massive shootout that happens there. We don't really get to appreciate what's inside the village itself. And whoever made these maps spare no expense because it is fully decorated. There's bunk beds, there's living quarters, there's kitchens, there's workspaces, the whole thing, you know, really makes it feel like it's lived in. But after exploring 1 or 2 buildings, the most interesting thing is the massive laser gun in the center. Hitting a button plays this full animation that breaks down the wall, just like how it happens in the TV show. And then when you come up to Baby Yoda, it shows that you need to give him a rabbit stew to earn its trust. So looking around, one chest has a CD, the other chest has some compasses and other things we don't need. But every Razor Crest has a rabbit stew that you can take with you and give to Baby Yoda. Luckily we have one, we feed him it, and immediately his cradle opens to see a little Baby Yoda. He has his own unique sound effects and probably shares the same AI as a Minecraft wolf, because if you close his cradle, he'll stay where he is, but if you open it, he'll follow and teleport if you get too far. But yeah, he is super, super adorable. Besides that, there isn't too much that Grogu can do. He's just there to tag along and be an aesthetic. I tried actually naming him Grogu by using a name tag and an anvil, but you can't actually put it on him. So unfortunately, Grogu will have to remain nameless as the child. But this is a really nice touch anyway. And for anybody that's a massive fan of the child or Grogu, you're likely to really love this little feature. But with Baby Yoda saved, let's move on to the final thing in this DLC pack, specifically to Mandalorian anyway. It's the Jawas Sandcrawler. These are the Jawas that pretty much break down the Mandalorian's Razor Crest, and there is an identical Sandcrawler in Tatooine, so I'm really not going to waste your time by going through all of the interior again, because it is absolutely identical to a T, minus some little colouring changes. So if you want to see the Sandcrawler in detail, I really recommend our video where we cover everything we find in Tatooine. And the Tatooine planet has so much more than probably all of the Mandalorian content actually. It is a huge, huge planet, so I really recommend checking out that video. But that pretty much covers it for the Arvala 7 planet, the Navarro planet, and the prison cells. I really love this Minecraft DLC pack. And the people behind it weren't joking about. This is probably the biggest Minecraft DLC pack they have made ever. You get all the skins, the 12 different planets, the different types of fleets and ship designs. You're likely to spend 10 to 20 hours exploring absolutely everything this Minecraft pack has to offer. And hey, once you're done, there's nothing really stopping you from doing a survival playthrough. Not all the features will be there, mind you, but it will still be fun nonetheless. And of course, anybody who is asking, the Nether and the End don't have any unique designs to them. So if you do manage to get there, there is no difference to texture packs. But that pretty much covers everything for this Mandalorian pack. Do you love it? Do you love Mandalorian itself? And hey, when this video comes out, did you like the end of Season 2? Let me know all of your thoughts with no spoilers, mind you, in the comments down below. And if you want more of these Minecraft videos, let me know that too. This is our third one. We've got plenty more planets that we can explore afterward. So if you're interested in that, of course, be sure to like the video, let me know in the comments, and it'll get through to me. But other than that, guys, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.